Many of you have probably been waiting on this, as have I. But the WNBA All-Star Game ratings have come out, and all I could think of right off the bat was 4 little letters. F-A-F-O. F around and find out.
JC Sheldon's hit on Caitlin. Clark's groin didn't just sideline the WNBA's biggest star during the league's most crucial week. It triggered a financial meltdown the league is desperately trying to hide. The All-Star Game, which should have been a celebration, turned into a ratings disaster as viewership crashed and burned. Yet the WNBA remains in full-on denial. The connection is undeniable. The league's response reveals that their true priorities may not be what you think. So how badly did the ratings actually tank without Clark? What exactly did the WNBA commissioner say about it? Comment below. WNBA Trainwreck if you saw this coming from a mile away.
Numbers for the most exciting, entertaining, overwhelmed with joy WNBA All-Star Game we have seen in quite some time. We have ratings for that disaster as well. There's good news and there's bad news.
So, what started all this? July 13th changed everything. JC Sheldon drove her knee directly into Caitlin Clark's groin during what should have been a routine basketball play. The contact was unmistakable. Clark immediately doubled over, clutching herself in visible pain. The referees, they watched it happen and did absolutely nothing. No whistle, no foul call, not even a review. This wasn't basketball. This was a targeted attack that went unpunished. Right in front of 3 officials, new footage shows exactly how deliberate the contact was. Sheldon's knee makes direct impact with Clark's groin area. You can clearly see Clark's immediate reaction, the grimace, the way she grabs at her body, the clear distress. This wasn't incidental contact during a normal play. This was a player driving her knee into another player's most vulnerable area, while the refs stood by and let it happen.
Referees was completely ridiculous. The referees was a complete disaster.
And immediately grabbed the inside of that right leg.
This wasn't the first time either. All season long, Clark has absorbed elbows to the head, blindside shoves, eye pokes, hard fouls, the kind that would be immediately flagged if they happened to any other player. The pattern is crystal clear. Other players seem to get away with anything when targeting Clark. While referees consistently look the other way, it's become open season on the league's biggest star.
Last year, I noticed how much it was just Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark was taking all the hits. Caitlin Clark was taking all the abuse. But this year they've added Sophie Cunningham. She gets more flagrant fouls on her than anybody in the league besides Caitlin Clark. And Aaliyah Boston. She's been taking hits as well. But the worst thing is the consistency. So they don't call flagrant fouls, or most of the time, Caitlin Clark could be held for an entire game at a time. They don't call fouls. They don't call common fouls. But then when it's the Indiana Fever, guess what? Touch foul here, touch foul here. They call absolutely nothing.
The moment news broke that Clark was injured and wouldn't be playing in the All-Star Game, social media erupted. Fans instantly connected the dots between Sheldon's dirty play and Clark's absence. But the real shock came when ticket prices were revealed. The financial impact was immediate and devastating.
When Clark gets hurt, and guess what? Your demand vanishes because people ain't going to pay up to see these athletes that are ungrateful that their sport's growing. People aren't paying up for that. And we are here, right here. The tickets for this game, for this All-Star Game, they've dropped by 50%.
Before Clark's injury was announced, the All-Star Game was on track to set a record for the highest average ticket price in WNBA All-Star history. Fans were paying an average of $262 per ticket. The get-in price was $121, meaning even the cheapest seats were going for a premium. This was poised to be the league's biggest payday of the season. Then, everything collapsed. Within hours of the injury news, the get-in price plummeted from $121 to just $64, a staggering 48% drop overnight. The secondary market went into a complete free fall, as fans rushed to offload their tickets at major losses rather than attend an all-star game without the only player they truly came to see.
Bleep around and find out what this league looks like without Caitlin Clark being involved in your biggest events. Kathy Engelbert, this should be a perfect example of why you need to get your officiating cleaned up and you need to have a talk with your players in the league. And nobody's asking you to hold Caitlin Clark's hand. Just play fair.
You know what this proves? Referees didn't just fail to protect Clark during that play with Sheldon. They cost the league hundreds of thousands of dollars in ticket revenue due to their incompetence. One uncalled foul turned the WNBA's biggest celebration into a financial disaster. And this was only the beginning of how badly this injury would expose the league's total dependence on its biggest star.
You see, this is exactly what we were talking about. WNBA All-Star ratings are in for 2025, and it is down 40%. 40% from last year. That's bad. That is really bad. We already watched the ticket prices drop by more than 50% because Caitlin Clark was not playing. This is bad news for the WNBA, and this should be a wake-up call.
For the first time all season, Gainbridge Fieldhouse had empty seats during a major WNBA event. The sight was jarring. Patches of vacant chairs, scattered throughout sections that are normally packed wall-to-wall with Clark jerseys and screaming fans. And this wasn't just any game. It was All-Star Weekend, supposedly the league's biggest celebration of the year. But Caitlin Clark's absence triggered something the WNBA had never experienced before. A fan boycott they couldn't spin or hide. The numbers don't lie. Every single Fever home game this season, and last, sold out completely. Clark's presence guaranteed full arenas wherever she played. Without her, fans simply stayed home.
Clear. Fans sent a blatant message. A shot across thou bow. All right? And your ship, well, without Caitlin Clark, the WNBA and all their pay us what you owe us action, that action will sink. That action will sink.
That single action caused a massive ripple effect. Think about what Caitlin Clark typically brings to any arena. Standing ovations during warm-ups. Lines wrapped around the building for merchandise. Local restaurants and bars packed hours before. Tip-off and hotel rooms booked solid. That's the Clark effect. She doesn't just fill seats. She transforms entire neighborhoods into basketball celebrations. The ticket resale collapse told the full story. Fans who paid premium prices were desperate to unload their all-star tickets the moment Clark was ruled out. StubHub and Vivid Seats were flooded with listings as people took massive financial losses rather than attend away. It's a Clarkless event. We're talking about fans who willingly lost hundreds of dollars just to avoid watching the game without her. And the economic fallout didn't stop there. Merchandise booths saw a major drop in sales without Clark jerseys flying off the racks. Concession stands prepped for record crowds served far fewer customers. Meanwhile, local Indianapolis businesses, who had staffed up and stocked up for the biggest weekend of the WNBA season, watched their projected revenues vanish overnight.
When it comes to the vendors in the arena, the shops in the arena, they're not going to have the same amount of people patronize their business as they would if Caitlin Clark was there. The surrounding restaurants, the surrounding areas, the surrounding attractions, they're not going to have the same number of people patronize their business as they would if Caitlin Clark was.
Let's be real, this exposed something the league desperately wanted to keep hidden. WNBA events without Caitlin Clark are just regular basketball games that most fans simply ignore. The All-Star Games still featured Aja Wilson, Brina Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu, and every other so-called star in the league. Yet not one of them could generate even half the buzz that Clark creates, just by showing up, but the most damning evidence was still on the way. The empty seats and crashing ticket prices were only the visible symptoms of a much deeper issue, one the league could no longer conceal. The television ratings were about to make it painfully clear just how many millions of fans decided they had better things to do than watch a WNBA All-Star game without Caitlin Clark.
The ratings fell tremendously. and it was an awful game. So that large percent of people who did not watch, they probably had a better Saturday than everybody else. We just got to be real. It was a glorified 4-point shooting contest in a layup line. It was terrible. It was a terrible product, and you guys should have taken it personal to show the world what you can do and show the world you are more than just Caitlin Clark, because the ticket prices dropped once it got announced that she wasn't playing.
The All-Star disaster confirmed what everyone already knew, but the WNBA still refuses to admit that its entire future hinges on one player. The 36% ratings crash from 3.44 million viewers in 2024 to just 2.19 million in 2025 wasn't a coincidence. It was undeniable proof. Fans are tuning in for Caitlin Clark, not the WNBA brand. The league's frantic efforts to spotlight other stars fell completely flat in her absence. This wasn't about the quality of basketball or the level of competition. This was about star power, and there's only one player who truly has it.
Talk about leading up to this. The officiating, I think enough fans had it up to here with the league as a whole. People had it up to here. You got to understand. Caitlin Clark is getting beat up in these games. The refs aren't calling anything. Kathy Engelbert seems to have air between both of her ears. She seems to have pure air floating between her ears. And I think people are fed up. They were fed up with.
You know what makes this even more embarrassing for the league? The pay us what you owe us stunt backfired spectacularly. Those shirts worn during warm-ups sparked massive online backlash as fans saw the message as toned of entitlement. Players demanding higher pay, while the one person who actually drives league revenue sat injured on the bench came off as absurd. The negative reaction made one thing crystal clear. Fans know exactly who's responsible for the WNBA's success.
It's not about one person, no matter how many times WNBA and Kathy Engelbert say so. That's virtue signaling in the most disingenuous form. It's Caitlin Clark. As soon as they educate the players on how to deal with this, not as petty, jealous petty hags, all will be better off. Yeah. Pay us what you owe us, they displayed on their shirts. Okay. First, they have to give the money back. They can receive smaller paychecks than they currently receive. Yikes.
The WNBA's selective presentation of data only made things worse. They compared 2025 viewership to 2023's. 850,000 viewers, conveniently ignoring the record-breaking 2024 numbers, driven by Caitlin Clark. This misleading comparison showed a supposed 158% increase, which meant absolutely nothing to fans who remembered what last year really looked like. Now the league faces a clear choice: protect their biggest asset or watch everything crumble without her. The all-star financial disaster erased any lingering doubt about Clark's value. She doesn't just drive viewership and ticket sales, she is the viewership and ticket sales. The WNBA's very survival depends on keeping Caitlin Clark healthy, happy, and on the court.
They didn't say what it was down from 2024. Don't worry, I got y'all, right? I got y'all. Down 36%. Don't worry, I'm here. I'm here. I'm here for you guys. I'm here for you guys. Up 158 from 2023, but down 36% from last year. Up, but down. Yes, the 158% is solely because of Caitlin Clark. Make no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I don't know if this is a solid number, to be fair. I was very steadfast at 2.5 million would be something that they can celebrate as a success. But when you see 1.2 million people not come back